Hey everyone, Lawrence here. Another week, another random thought on my newsletter. This week, I have thoughts about writing, and specifically in connection with a game that really doesn't have that much writing in it at all, Super Metroid. So I was reflecting on the intro of that game. Not only is the intro itself with the title card and the zooms and the hit at the title logo, all that stuff's fantastic. But once you actually start the game, you get a simple two-sentence preamble, which text on a black screen is just such a cool way to start anything. I'm reminded immediately of something like Star Wars or even Blade Runner. I mean, they both have different approaches, right? Star Wars, a little more similar to Super Metroid, just that long time ago in a galaxy far away. I feel like something like that is so vital to set tone really early on, and of course Star Wars is masterclass at it. It has this phrase that invites you to wonder about the mysteries and wonder you may about to see, and then suddenly it hits you with a crazy overture. So it tells you that this is going to be a tale of like mystery and bombast, of splendor and subtlety, of all those things. Super Metroid, I feel like, kind of does the same thing. I mean, there's the technical aspect that they actually got a digitized voice on a Super Nintendo cartridge.
The last Metroid is in captivity.
But just the phrase, the last Metroid is in captivity, the galaxy is at peace. Those two very small sentences do so much to establish the tone of this game. And so I thought it'd be fun to just kind of break it down. Because I'm a huge fan of writing that says very little but conveys a lot of meaning. I feel like, Stephen King's kind of masterclass at this. He can say one phrase that tells you everything you need to know about a character, or it just plants the seed and then your imagination kind of fills in the gaps. So we've got the last Metroid. What is a Metroid? Who knows? But it's the last one, so you know it's important. I'm just coming at it from the mindset of somebody who's never played this before, because this is kind of the first introduction. And then after the title card, you can kind of put some of the stuff together, but it's the last one. That means it's important. This is actually reminding me of a movie called The Last Mimsy. I've never seen it. I don't think I've even seen a trailer for it. I'm gonna watch a trailer for that right now, because I feel like I want to know what this movie's about. What is a Mimsy? I know what Metroids are. I need to know what Mimsies are. When are they gonna get to the Mimsy?
What's that?
Okay, I think that's the Mimsy. So the Mimsy's a cell phone? Is it just me, or are kid actors better now? Where's the Mimsy?
May I borrow these?
Rainn Wilson's in this?
It's a map to the past and future.
Pass me the sugar.
40 more seconds in this Mimsy trailer. I want to see a Mimsy. Am I really going to go this entire trailer without seeing the last Mimsy?
The Last Mimsy.
I am. All right, well, unlike the trailer for The Last Mimsy, you actually see a Metroid pretty early on. Anyway, The Last Metroid, it's important, but it's in captivity. That means it's probably dangerous, right? And it's the last one, so everything's fine. And then the next sentence kind of puts that together. The galaxy. Okay, the galaxy. We know that this is going to take place in space, and if one Metroid could threaten the entire galaxy, they must be pretty important, right? And it says the galaxy is at peace. All right, so we know for sure that a Metroid being out means the galaxy's not at peace, because these two things go together. So we know the Metroids are dangerous. We know there's only one more. We know it's contained. It's not dead, but everything's fine for now. And that's sort of the establishment. And that's a lot of emotional weight, I think, to convey in two super small sentences. Now, then again, the game goes on to have a ton of text shortly after that of Samus sort of narrating the events of previous games and then what she's about to do to kind of set up the prologue of the game. But even still, I think those two lines do a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of tone establishment, not only in what they say, but how they're presented. And I think those moments where a lot of meaning can be conveyed in a very short amount of time, or with something very simple, are very powerful. And I think it takes a lot of mastery to be able to do that. Now, Super Metroid is a game filled with mastery, so much so that I kind of want to play it again. I probably will soon. I don't know. I feel like that's one of those games I come back to every 5 years. That was one of the first games I remember being convinced it was going to be amazing, just because of what I saw from it early on, and then it was. But then, most big franchise sequels were pretty huge back then. But that's it. That's all I got. That's all my thoughts this week. I told you that these weren't all going to be interesting or good, and here I am proving it early. This week on the stream, I'm going to be way less formal about trying to describe what I'm doing and when, because I have no idea when I'm going to post this, but it's going to be a backlog week. It's backlog week, plus the fact that I discovered a month too late that Earth Defense Force 6 is actually out in Japan already. So thanks to a Japanese PSN account and buying a card online, I now have access to it. So I'm going to play that in Japanese. We'll see how that goes. Some of those menus can be tough to navigate even when they're in a language that I can speak and understand. So I'm not too confident that I'll know what I'm doing, but whatever. You just get in there and shoot ants. It's easy. Apart from that, I'm mostly going to be checking off a bunch of games from my list. I'm really close to the end of Ace Combat 7, really close to the end end of Star Wars Republic Commando, so I'm going to finish off those two. I'm fairly close to the end of Fallout New Vegas, which I've also been playing through. I started the second DLC, Honest Hearts, so I'm excited to finish that and then finish the main campaign proper. And then apart from that, it's just going to be a lot of great gaming. Feeling in my bones. It's going to be a gaming week. This week's for the gamers, you guys. I put a flag in the ground early. It's ours. We took it. So sorry anyone else. Actually, I really should look up to see if it's an important week before I say stuff like that. What if it's like Indigenous Peoples Week? They get the week over the gamers, or we can share. Gamers are excellent at sharing, right? Well, I hope to see you on the stream or in some of the YouTube content I'm producing. I don't mention that very often, but Bruce and I are making gaming news on YouTube again, so maybe I'll see you in the comment section there. But either way, I hope you have a great week. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you next time.